And welcome back to Channel KRT, the podcast where we bargain with the Lord to ensure that he doesn't kill any more of our favorite celebrities. I'm Tyler Green.
I'm Kit Safe Quinn.
Hey, I think my house is being broken into. I just hear these kids talking about like smoke detectors and shit. Like we have them. I don't know what more they want from me.
They're very condescending too, by the way.
These kids are handing me like $150 tickets because I forgot to change the battery. God damn it.
You are a child. You have no jurisdiction over me. Where are your parents?
Who are your parents?
Why are your parents?
How are your parents as well? Why is Gamora?
Oh, that was Randy Martin, by the way.
Yes.
Not the voice you just heard, but yeah. Anyway, so let's bring in the other voices that you were hearing today. First off, let's welcome to the Third Timers Club, my lovely girlfriend, Lottie.
Woo!
Hello.
Hey,
Woo! How you holding up after May 31st, Lottie?
well, I'm honking my clown nose.
Huzzah!
You get no context, by the way, audience. I also had my clown makeup on, and I kept it on despite getting what I wanted that day. Wink,
I was
wink.
gonna say, you got what you wanted.
Yeah, I got fucking destroyed by Hell of a Boss, so make of that what you will.
Oh my god, me too.
God damn it!
My clown makeup never comes off because I work retail, so there you go.
Yay!
Yeah.
I have had it with Blitz's shit.
Anyway, so let's introduce our second guest.
All right, Kai David, welcome back to the show, finally.
Hello, I was like Danny when I was first here. Now I'm Kai.
Hell yeah.
Eh.
We love name changes.
She's just Kai. Anything.
She regenerated off screen, sure, why not?
She's just Kai. Anywhere else you'd be a tie.
I accept.
Hooray. So today we are doing a very, very belated tribute to the late, very great Joe Flaherty.
Like I said, why does the world just keep killing off all my favorite comedians? I was the one who pitched this episode as soon as I learned of Joe Flaherty's passing, and I gotta say, what an absolutely underrated comedian.
It wasn't bad enough that 2024 took Carl Weathers from us. They were like, let's take another legend from Happy Gilmore.
God, Happy Gilmore, who was also in the closing moments of Back to the Future Part 2 as the delivery guy. He had a great bit in that.
A letter from me? That's impossible. Who the hell are you?
Western Union.
And now we get to see him as Howling Dracula.
And also, I recently watched The Wrong Guy, which is highly underrated, by the way. I highly recommend checking it out. And he was fantastic in that. Just, the man never gave a bad performance.
I need to watch The Wrong Guy.
It's so good. I loved it.
He was also in Stripes, I believe.
Yeah, he was in Stripes. He was also the dad in Freaks and Geeks, too. He was also the dad in Maniac Mansion, which is sort of the proto Honey, I Shrunk the Kids to the TV show. Down to the point that George Buza was a regular on that show.
That's right. Oh my God.
Playing a man-sized toddler, mind you.
So this has more connections to Honey, We Shrunk the Kids, the TV series, than we thought.
No,
We'll get to that.
mistake.
We'll get to that. And speaking of legendary movies that he was also, alongside Dave Thomas from SCTV, one of the Sleaze brothers in Follow That Bird.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh my God. So he has Muppet connections as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, there is a connection here because, so the reason Kai and Lottie are on this episode is that, well, like me, the three of us, we are big fans of SCTV.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
We were talking recently about shows that shaped our sense of humor. This was one that did it for me in high school, I think, especially thanks to Kai. She was the one who introduced me to it.
I was insistent Tyler should watch it.
One of the first episodes you showed me was, I believe it was the Zontar episode.
Right.
By now you should all be under my power. But you're not. This was due to the failure of one of my agents. X-37, what is your excuse?
I have no excuse, Zondar.
Then you know what your punishment is.
Yes, Zondar, please. Not the big migraine. No.
That's correct. It's headache time, Hank.
I actually just remembered this exchange I had with you. It was when I was getting into SCTV and I was looking for, I think, the Godfather episode, which starred Joe Flaherty. And it was just an amazing episode where he was, I think, the Don Corleone of of the episode. I forgot.
Yeah, because he was playing the character of Guy Caballero in that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Guy Caballero, the station manager, who is pretty much a mafia don, if you think about it.
SCTV was just a front the entire time.
Yeah.
Makes sense, actually.
Me and Lottie were talking about this recently when I was rewatching some SCTV, but the more I think about it, the best way I can sum SCTV up is that it's just comedians writing fan fiction about celebrities and TV shows they like.
So what I do all the time.
So they kind of paved the way a bit for what we're doing today.
Yeah, there we go.
So we actually brought up smoke detectives way back in our Full House episode, I remember, because we were talking about... I think so, yeah, because we were talking about be cool about fire safety, and then you brought up that there was another one with Count Floyd, so...
Yeah, so for some reason, there seems to be just a subsection of safety videos starring SCTV characters. And we're going to be talking about two today. The first one we're talking about is Smoke Detectives, which features Joe Flaherty directly in character as Count Floyd. And if you don't know who Count Floyd is, what sums it up is that he was basically a parody of, like, you know, Sven Gulli, those kind of, like, late-night monster movie hosts.
Introducing us to such things like the evil House of Pancakes and blood-sucking monkeys.
From West Mifflin, PA, correct.
Heck yeah.
And in this, he's basically a real vampire who hates fire safety.
He's very ignorant about fire safety.
He's easily the best part of this special, but man, do they waste him. Like,
you know, what makes no sense to me is vampires, you know, they're basically allergic to sunlight. Like, what is fire but just like sunlight but on the ground? You would think maybe he'd be a little more willing to make sure his house doesn't catch fire.
Yeah, for some reason, he's just shacking up in somebody's house. So I just like to think, you know, another thing I forgot to mention too is that Count Floyd is actually the alternate persona of one of the news anchors at SCTV, Floyd Robinson.
yeah, that's right.
So I'm just going to assume that what happened here is that, you know, somewhere down the line, Floyd got the boot from SCTV. So somewhere down the line, he just went as far to become secluded and just fell straight into the delusion that he is an actual vampire.
Yes, he did.
He just jumps right off the fucking roof and then it's like, whoops, I can turn into a bat.
I'm a vampire! 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 I'm a vampire!
My HC for Count Floyd is that Floyd Robertson got fired and then he needed some money, so he just did this special.
You see, here's the thing. The conceit of this special feels exactly like something SCTV would parody.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah.
actually have one of their characters from the show stoop this low.
Yeah, like, I'll get into it more when we get into it, but there's a part in this that felt like a thing that Count Floyd would actually do where he's riffing on a movie.
Oh, there are several moments where his inner Count Floyd is properly showing, but he has to, you know, kind of censor it for the children a bit.
Yeah.
There's one thing, too, I wanted to mention, you know, going into SCTV characters and everything. So the show does have, like, a lot of memorable characters. Of course, Bob and Doug McKenzie, Dr. Tongue, played by John Candy. Even, for some reason, I was looking it up, even Count Floyd had, you know, a bit of clout, you know, outside of SCTV. He had his own comedy album. That was a thing.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
You know, baby, you make me have those nocturnal emissions. Yeah. In fact, before I go to bed every night, I put on an emission control device. No, but seriously, baby, I crave you.
He also did that special, the how to make a funny video.
Oh, yeah, that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Didn't he also do commercials as well?
I think he did, yeah. I forget which ones, though. But there's also the intro that he did for Rush's song The Weapon during their Grace Under Pressure tour.
Count Floyd here, and I'm here tonight to introduce a very special song to you. It's a scary song, one of the scariest I've ever heard. Even the title scares me. It's called The Weapon.
Of course, tying it back to Geddy Lee, who did the theme for Bob and Doug, Take Off.
Hell yeah.
Kulu coo 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 coo, indeed.
So besides Joe Flaherty, there really isn't many other people in this special who went on to do much else. Like, the director and the writer both really only have this on their IMDb pages, and I don't even know what happened to the kids. So
Oh, jeez.
the real smoke detectives got him. Please, can we just have some water? Not until you install the smoke detector and learn how to lock the door.
I'm just assuming that there was sort of like a smoke mafia that was rivaling these kids. Definitely the same ages as them. And, I'm just going to say that concrete shoes were probably involved.
I'm seeing double here. 4 Floyds.
So are they partners with the Mary-Kate and Ashley Detective Agency, or are they in direct competition?
No, even Mary-Kate and Ashley would tell these fucking kids to tone it down a little bit. So I can't think of a better way to start a fire safety video than sensory overload.
It's like a random group of kids, including baby John Denver.
And loud fucking beeping for some goddamn reason.
Good lord.
The beeping was so loud. I'm pretty sure I have PTSD from that beeping.
I'm not even kidding. I thought my smoke detector was going off. That's how loud it was.
I couldn't hear anything else except the beeping.
They really could have turned it down too, considering they turned it down in every other smoke detector shot.
There's supposed to be this new Jack swing underscoring one of the kids running to the clubhouse, but you can barely fucking hear it.
It's like we have Goonies at home. Goonies at home.
Also, they have a State Farm plaque on their wall, so I guess they're officially sponsored?
There's also the Count Chocula cereal.
Yes!
Why was it there?
Yeah!
One of the kids literally makes a joke saying, Count Floyd seems like the kind of vampire that would be on a cereal box, and it literally cuts to a fucking Count Chocula box on the shelf.
And also a kid has a Bert painting and another kid has a fucking Tigger blanket, so...
Yeah, this was back in the days where, Disney and Sesame Workshop would not give, a shit about cease and desists.
Basically.
Because do you really want to be the guy who sues the fire safety video to stop children from burning to death? You really want to be that guy?
Remember, we'll partner with Autism Speaks, but we'll be damned if we shut down the smoke detectives.
Yeah. So then these kids are like, let's just go enter this house randomly because Count Floyd lives there and he doesn't take fire safety seriously. It's like,
No, before that, what I can basically sum up as an episode of the show Lamer Things is that these kids are just complaining that they never have any cases, almost like making a club solely based around being fire and arcs is pointless or something.
Exactly.
These kids should be thankful that there are no cases with fire safety.
One of the kids makes a point to mention that the last case they had was this case where an old lady made them change the batteries in their smoke alarm or something. That was a pity case.
It's giving that episode of Futurama where Bender keeps starting fires around town just so he can rescue people. It's like, these kids just want arson to happen.
Well, who's to say they aren't making arson happen?
Future arsonists.
Yeah.
How else are they going to keep in business?
When they enter the house, I was just half expecting the house was going to be filled to the brim with all sorts of weapons and shit.
They walked in and it's the worst episode of Hoarders you've ever seen.
Oh no!
Oh no. And then there's a bunch of bear traps around the house, Saw style. Just
You ever see that one video of that booby trap that's actually real? There was a knife coming down on a stair spring.
God.
Did they find one of those in there?
It's Home Alone, but fire safety.
And then also, they're hearing Count Floyd howling from upstairs, and I'm gonna sound like such a weirdo for saying this. I was genuinely scared they were gonna walk in on him doing, something.
Oh no.
Well, you're not wrong in that the contraption they find him tied up in is kind of giving me BDSM vibes.
Kids, you caught me in the middle of my autoerotic asphyxiation.
He was doing that while watching 3D House of Stewardess.
Oh, God.
Oh.
I also love, the fact that the kids come in literally dressed up as detectives.
Did they really have to go that extra?
Who is this guy selling detective uniforms to children?
It's just a guy wearing a hat and trench coat. The kids walk by. Hey, kids, you want to buy something nice? He opens his trench coat up. It's a bunch of mini trench coats within a trench coat.
He's just a walking pile of trench coats.
He even has a trench coat for a head. So
Huzzah!
He drives around a van that says free hats and trench coats.
Also, I forgot to mention the John Denver looking kid Carrie at the beginning when one of the other kids brings in like cookies. He straight up sniffs the bag,
Ew.
literally puts his whole fucking face into it. Way to ruin the cookies, you little asshole.
No fucking thank you.
Well, I mean, they were oatmeal raisin cookies. They were already ruined.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true.
Oatmeal chocolate chip cookies are superior, though.
Remember, everyone, all hate goes to Twitter user Neon Tails.
Yay!
Exactly.
Also, these kids have all the room to talk on Count Floyd making bad jokes. Like, they were the ones fucking making jokes about their detective agency.
You are children pretending to be first responders. You have no right to say anything about anything.
Yes.
In all fairness, Joe Flaherty is working with some really bottom of the barrel material here.
Yeah, it feels like they took a page out of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show playbook and were like, yeah, we should just have him make a bunch of bad puns.
Like, for fuck's sake, you're having the guy who played the dad from Freaks and Geeks spout out all these stupid vampire puns. Like,
oh, she? Must have been my mother, the old bat.
Joe, you're fucking better than this, man.
So then they decide to go around the house and explore and to make sure that his house is fire safety certified. I will say I did get a small laugh out of him calling one of the kids a little liar.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he basically reaches into the Count Floyd playbook of trying to tell a story about the fire monster, but the kids keep shutting it down with all these fucking facts and logic or whatever.
These kids are probably the type to tell you that Santa isn't real and that, oh, Star Wars shouldn't work because why would they be able to destroy the Death Star with a tiny hole?
These are the kind of kids who would remind the teacher that there's homework.
Oh, absolutely.
They're little snitches.
These fucking kids would be shoving each other in the lockers, let's be real.
True.
These kids would probably be like, you have to listen to both sides of a political argument.
Here's what confuses me about some of the logic that these kids have. Like, in one part of Count Floyd's story, he literally says, oh, one of the kids kept the door open during the fire, and one of the kids says, you're not supposed to do that. Why not?
That's how you get the smoke out.
Yeah, exactly.
So apparently, actually, I guess technically the reason you're not supposed to do it is because if you let any more oxygen in the house, that could actually feed the fire.
Yeah, and honestly, parts of this were giving me heavy bits of the fire safety video from when we reviewed the Mickey ones, and I feel like that one gave better advice overall, even if it got some stuff wrong.
One thing I will say about this is that it didn't tell me to leave my pets behind in the fire.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
True.
They were like, your possessions, yes, your pets, no.
Yeah, no, I'm taking my dog and cat hand in hand, and you're not fucking stopping me.
Exactly.
I would rescue a goldfish from a fire.
Yes.
Okay?
As you should.
And also, the fucking John Denver kid manages to get himself stuck behind the fucking bookshelf, because of course.
Yeah, before that, too, that's another thing. One of the other kids says, that you should stay calm when your house is on fire. Well, you fucking shouldn't. If your house is on fire, you get the fuck out of there screaming.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm starting to think these kids aren't actually human.
these kids are probably secretly like demons or something, and they're or trickster gods.
I'm starting to think they're the real monsters, not the fucking vampire.
They're sadistic and want fires.
They work for the fire.
Yes, they do.
Also, this is probably way too specific, but was the John Denver kid giving anybody else Sean from Barney vibes?
Oh, yeah.
Like, where he's just an
Yes.
annoying little shit, just there to start shit, basically.
Yeah, an annoying little shit who literally just straight up dresses like he's fucking 50.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and that's right. He's the only one with a character trait, and that character trait is that he's hungry all the time.
Yeah.
To which, in one point, Count Floyd responds,
Hope he doesn't get into my blood sausage. Ooh, that stuff's scary. Gives me a bad case of the heebie-jeebies.
Good night, everybody.
my brother in Christ, you were Abraham Lincoln's dad in Clone High. What happened, man?
Have you seen that girl's ass? It's built like the space shuttle. Ooh, this could be your only chance to drown the slippery otter, to harpoon the salty longshoreman, to verb the adjective noun.
And so then it leads to another scene of Count Floyd getting stuck behind the bookshelf because there are not enough shenanigans in this special.
Never enough shenanigans.
Yeah, when they realize he's stuck behind the bookcase, I was thinking to myself, if we leave him there, the screams have to stop sooner or later, right?
It's like, I mean, we can always test to see if these kids' fire safety is so good. We could just set the house on fire.
They're trying to get the kid shown out of the bookcase, and they keep pushing on it. And then Count Floyd is like, I'm pushing harder already. I need a break. Good night, everybody.
Yay. And also there's a scene where he's like, forget burning houses, and he's talking so much like Bill O'Reilly's "we're doing it live, fuck it" speech. We'll burn the house down. Fuck it.
So eventually Count Floyd just gets so fed up with the fucking kids, he just says fuck it and just lights up a cigarette.
Yeah.
Now that's the Count Floyd I know and love.
And then the kids go, that's a fire hazard. Because, of course, they do.
Yeah, like, who cares if a grown man fucking smokes? Can you blame him? If he has to be around you kids, I'm sure anybody would.
What if it's like a weed pipe or something? I'm sure he'll be fine if it's like, if it's not a tobacco cigarette. And also, the way the kid says,
Count Floyd smokes! Yuck!
sounded so much like fucking Beesbo saying ham and cheese yuck.
Jesus, I'm getting fucking war flashbacks.
You know what? I'll say this is slightly better than Beesbo.
Yeah, no argument there.
All right, you get this one.
So eventually Count Floyd just gets fed up with the kids and just straight up tells them to fuck off, which, good for him. He's right to do so.
End the movie right there. Goodbye.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. These kids literally just barged into his house and just straight up starting to tell him what to do and acting smug about it.
You broke into my house and you're yelling at me.
Not just that, they were also actively insulting him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anything, he should have called the cops by now.
Trespassers.
It's like, what? Is he afraid that they're going to find out he's a vampire?
So eventually what makes the kids break is that they find out that Count Floyd just straight up has a bunch of newspapers lying around. So they just start yelling at him about, like, I guess a checklist that schools put out alongside this movie.
Yeah, which is like, I'm sure that as long as there isn't, like, say, a bunch of matches around, I don't think having a lot of paper means you're instantly a fire hazard. Just saying.
Which I forgot to mention too, by the way. I actually did watch this in school in like 3rd grade.
Oh my God.
And it stuck with me for the longest time. This was actually my true introduction to SCTV.
Oh,
and
wow.
I remember, I think I told you about this, Kai, just discussing this with you. And like, I realized, wait, so the vampire in this is the vampire from SCTV. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, holy shit, there's a whole cinematic universe here.
No kidding, as we'll get into in the next special.
SCTV Cinematic Universe. We love that.
Yes, this does take place in the same universe as Strange Brew. Don't ask me how, it just does.
Dr. Seuss on the Loose also fits in here too. Change my mind.
Sure, why not?
I mean, in search of Dr. Seuss, so
Yeah. Eventually, the kids just straight up yell that they're going to tell his mom that, he's basically disobeying all this fucking fire shit. And I'm just thinking, what authority do these kids have over him?
Like, you're a vampire, dude. You could easily just make these kids fucking leave.
A grown adult getting bullied by children? What is this, Twitter?
When the kids are threatening him, like, I was just half expecting them to just say, when he's like going, or else what? And then one of the kids retorts, or else your house might burn down sooner or later.
I'm not even gonna lie. I genuinely thought one of the kids would be like, or else this, and just pull out a wooden stake.
Or a bunch of garlic out of nowhere.
You gonna do as we fucking say? You gonna do what we say?
You know what? I want to see these kids try to square up with the vampires from What We Do in the Shadows. They would be floored immediately. I badly need to see Matt Berry just roast these kids.
Yes!
You kids are about to learn how a fire really works if you don't leave my fucking house.
And usually I would complain when someone else in the special does riffing for me, but if Joe Flaherty's riffing on a safety video, he can do whatever he wants. I don't care.
Absolutely. It was giving big Weird Al show PSA energy.
It really was.
And honestly, it's good because what they were playing was basically a generic-ass fire safety video, which I get. It's there to teach the kids, so I can't necessarily complain. But it's like, it's such weird advice they're giving.
And what's Daniel gonna do when his clothes catch fire? Accept the inevitable, of course.
And so then Count Floyd genuinely starts getting scared of the fire, and it's supposed to be, I guess, his Scrooge coming to realize that he needs to change moment.
Count Floyd, no, don't drink the Kool-Aid. You're going to become a cultist just like them. No.
No, Count Floyd.
He's a vampire. He could probably easily become the leader.
Literally, though, the way he starts chanting, I want to be a smoke detective, over and over is fucking cult-like.
I want to be a smoke detective. I want to be a smoke detective. I want to be a smoke detective. Oh, boy.
It's like, oh, Jesus, don't introduce this guy to Scientology.
Oh, no.
Also, the way that he started getting afraid while watching the fire safety video, it was reminding me so much of when Binky had a fear of fires in the April 9th episode of Arthur, except done worse.
You're telling me Count Floyd got scared into becoming a smoke detective.
Remember, kids, if somebody won't listen to fire safety, just scare the shit out of them.
In the words of Ron Perlman, there's a lot of ways to lose a house, motherfucker.
You're telling me all it took for Count Floyd, a vampire, to be scared enough of fire to start screaming he wants to join this detective agency run by children was basically seeing 9/11?
Count Floyd 9/11 video when?
No, he's gonna sneak it into that America's Funniest Home Videos thing he did where he's just shooting it on his fucking bulky ass camcorder.
It wasn't even anything equivalent to that. It was literally just a kid and like their parent doing like some sort of safety plan role play, and that scared the shit out of him.
Imagine he just turned on the TV and then a fire PSA just started. I feel like that would have traumatized the fuck out of that guy.
Someone show him a British PSA.
Oh, God.
Show him that one workplace safety video from Europe where they just show these people going through the most extreme situations.
Oh, I have an idea. Show him the Delta P video.
Oh, God, no.
Let him watch that crab get sucked into an oil refinery pipe.
Jesus.
So Count Floyd starts working on his paperwork, and when he presents it to the smoke detectives, they immediately accuse him of forging it. It's like, no, I flew all the way to Transylvania to get my mother to sign it. It's like, he's a grown-ass adult.
And yes, he does make a boy are my arms tired joke with a rim shot.
It was already bad enough. The rim shot just felt like an insult.
You were in Back to the Future Part 2, man.
Also, when Count Floyd talks about, flying to Transylvania like a bat, that's not what happened. He just got in his fucking car and just drove down the street to his mom's house. Stop feeding yourself into this delusion, man.
Transylvania's in another country. He just went on a plane.
Or he has like a Star Trek portal. Like, there's no damn way he's flying all the way to Transylvania.
Oh, and we forgot to mention, too, the fact that his bachelor pad basically gets gentrified.
Yeah, that was messed up.
He starts off with this bitchin' haunted house aesthetic with a lot of cool shit all over the place, all black. And then when the kids come in the next day, it's all painted over white, looking like fucking Heaven's Gate.
It's a fucking propaganda video. I swear to God.
You watch one safety video and all this shit suddenly gets to your head. To the point where he's literally dressing up as a firefighter and calling himself Firefighter Floyd.
Yeah.
Okay, so the having like 1,000 candles just lit at the same time all over your house, most of which are unattended. Yeah, that part is a fire hazard. I got that. What about the rest of the decor was?
Wizard did it.
Apparently a vampire did it.
And in case this doesn't get any fucking dumber, they have the audacity to end this on a goddamn sequel hook.
Why?
They call them and they say, "You got to come to Transylvania. There's fire hazards everywhere." And they go. I guess just bye, Mom. We're going unattended to a foreign country because a random guy on the phone told us to.
Hey, Mom, I'm gonna be bringing lunch today.
And then it just cuts to black, and you see a screen. Count Floyd and the smoke detectives will return.
In Civil War TV. I don't know. So I don't know if we want to give our verdicts on each tape before, or after, or until the end, but
yeah, I think we can give the verdict for each tape. I think for this one, it's going to be a tepid donation box. It's just dumb, man.
You know, and maybe this is a little extreme because admittedly this isn't as bad as some of the other stuff I've watched, but you know what? For the sheer irony of it being called Smoke Detectives, I'm giving it a burn the tape. Burn the fire safety video.
I was actually going to say I'm only giving it a put in the donation box because do I really want to be the guy who burns a fire safety for children tape? Apparently Kit does.
Plot twist, I'm going to take over as the edgelord of the podcast.
They took our gerbs.
And Lottie, Kai, what are your verdicts?
I think it's a donation box only because I think I remember watching this one as a kindergartner because I'm old and
I'm so sorry.
Hey, listen. Yeah, so I think it's a donation box because it's so bad. But like, hey, if a teacher picks it up and shows it to her students and it introduces a bunch of kids to Count Floyd, which then gets them into SCTV,
there you go. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Then just immediately show the kids Back to the Future Part 2 or Happy Gilmore immediately after.
My verdict is I'm with Kit. Go burn the thing. Okay.
Hey, one of me.
This is why introducing fire safety to kids is fine, but they have to do it as how I grew up with, which is scary PSAs.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
So introduce it to them by showing like the most horrifying 30 seconds known to man.
All right, so moving on to the next SCTV adjacent safety video.
Which was actually not bad. Like, it's not great, but it's not terrible either.
It's a step up compared to fucking Smoke Detectives.
It's the fact that Andrea Martin is really good in the role, and better than she should be.
So now we're moving on to the 1988 safety video Kid Safe, which has a very interesting backstory in that it's written, produced, and directed by one Stuart Gordon.
Yes, that Stuart Gordon.
Shit.
Yes.
And I think that this was made in the same year he would have been filming Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, too, so...
I believe so. This was after he did Dolls.
Yeah, so...
Which, by the way, Dolls fucking slaps. Go watch it.
Hell yeah.
As usual, no escape.
So yeah, that's like we said, the Honey, We Shrunk the Kids, the TV show connection wasn't unwarranted. It's like...
And not only that, but it also has an appearance from Meshack Taylor, Hollywood fucking Montrose from Mannequin.
Yeah, that's right.
If you want to lose weight, just a diet.
Oh, diets are no use. It's those jelly donuts. They called to me in the middle of the night. Hollywood, come and get me, Hollywood. I can't stay away from them.
So not only is this a Joe Flaherty tribute now, it's a fucking Meshack Taylor tribute. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And there's also another insane cameo later on, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, what makes this special a lot more tolerable is the fact that you can tell that Stuart Gordon was allowed to have a little bit of fun and insert horror into it, so...
Oh yeah, this is kind of like baby's first horror in a way.
Yeah.
This was terrifying.
Did you read the comments while watching it?
Oh yeah, this traumatized kids.
This traumatized me when I was in kindergarten.
I can see why.
Yeah, I can see it. I don't know if it would have scared me personally, but it definitely had the vibes of that.
And I will say that Count Floyd feels more akin to the actual SCTV character than what the fuck we got in Smoke Detectives.
Yeah, that's right.
He introduced it as like Monster Chiller Horror Theater, which is the actual like segment he has on SCTV, which is a nice touch. So
he's in this special a lot less, but they utilize him way better.
And what makes it even weirder too, and this is a deep cut that really shows my SCTV knowledge, but the character Andrea Martin plays is a character by the name of Kathy Tudor, who shows up in one of the Preteen World sketches on SCTV.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I know you're awfully busy, but I'm having a birthday party next Friday, and I'd like to invite you as my date.
Yeah?
Well, will you?
Nah. I miss the Incredible Hulk.
I guess her character was younger here.
Yeah, her character is supposed to be an 8-year-old, and usually I'm just not a fan of the trope where you have grown-ass adults playing children in live action. When they're voicing children, it's totally fine. But when it's very noticeable that, it's a grown adult in, like, pigtails and a frilly dress, It's just wrong, man.
Unless it's Kathy Rigby and Peter Pan, she gets an exception.
Honestly, what made it work for me is that she was giving big Lunette vibe.
Her and
Yeah.
Allison Court are the only people who can pull it off.
Exactly. So then this special basically begins with Kathy stuck at home by herself because, leave an 8-year-old by themselves. Like, my parents didn't start leaving me alone until I was like 11 or 12. It's like,
Yep.
Oh,
Like-
no, yeah, same here.
it's like, I know that it can vary for different kids, but you kind of have to have them at an age where you can kind of trust them to use the phone and such. Just saying.
I mean, part of me wonders if maybe it's different for like only children, because it's like, we both grew up with younger siblings, so they had to wait until we were at least a little old enough to,
yeah,
deal with them.
that was kind of the case for me because my parents needed me to watch my younger brothers, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, did anybody else notice that Kathy was wearing the trans pride colors on her shirt?
That's
Hell
right.
yeah.
Hell
Happy
yeah.
Pride,
Happy
guys.
Pride, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Hey,
Happy
hell
Pride.
yeah. SC Trans TV.
Yeah.
Hey!
Well, I mean, Andrea Martin has done drag on SCTV
Hell yeah.
and Catherine O'Hara, so it checks.
It's all about the SCBT this month.
Hell yeah.
SCP-TV.
Q plus.
I was surprised with some of the stuff they could get away with in this special. Like when she's changing channels on the TV, they mention how a bunch of bears managed to rip apart scouts. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, that felt like a fucking Weird Al joke.
A pack of Cub Scouts are missing near Yosemite. Bears were sighted in the vicinity.
And she really does pull off the whole being a scared kid without it being weird, so.
Yeah, no, because she actually goes through the motions of it, and she's kind of like the audience surrogate character in a way.
Yeah. And also when she said that the way she'll calm herself down is making some cinnamon toast, I was half expecting her to say cinnamon toast crunch.
That's what I was hoping for. We did see
Count Chocula.
Yeah, Count Chocula, have some more cereals. Make this like the cereal expanded universe or some shit. Maybe this is in the same universe as that shitty Jerry Seinfeld movie about Pop-Tarts.
Oh, and by the way, we should mention Count Floyd only shows up in the beginning and the end of this.
Yeah.
It's
Like
still a Joe Flaherty tribute. It counts.
Yeah, you know what?
It counts. Floyd. Heyo.
And like I said, even if he's used a lot less in this special, it's still a better use of him.
Absolutely. Also, speaking of copyright skirting cameos, we got Barbie and Ken, Felix the Cat, and Mickey Mouse toys.
And we get like this off-brand Pinocchio doll, I think.
Yeah, they couldn't afford the Disney Pinocchio, but they can afford to show Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, you can afford Mickey Mouse, but not Pinocchio.
Even in non-Disney owned safety videos, you can't escape me.
Oh god, he looked like the Roberto Benigni Pinocchio doll.
Oh, that fucking movie.
Jeez.
God, speaking of grown adults playing children.
Ugh, no.
No. Oh, another good example of grown adults playing children and it works. Peppy Longsocks from SCTV.
That's right, yeah.
That's a goated fucking SCTV sketch.
Do you remember the day of the great potato harvest? The sun was shining. It was a beautiful day. We were laughing and laughing, laughing and laughing, and then you jumped on the family ox and broke its legs in half.
Yes, Father. That was the day Mother spanked me.
Do you remember what you did?
Yes, Father. I tossed her out the window into the woodpile.
I love the behind the scenes tidbit of that where, because they're parodying foreign dubbed films, what they're doing is they're basically just swearing the whole time and they have to dub it over. And I forget which SCTV cast member said this. I think it was Rick Moranis, but I think he hoped that no lip readers would actually watch that sketch.
Exactly. Basically, as long as you're not giving me the vibes of that one Full House episode where Michelle dreams of her family being in preschool.
Ugh.
Yay, yay, the princess is here. We love the princess. Her name is Michelle. Yay, yay, Princess Michelle.
I like that song.
Peppy Longsocks is a goated SCTV sketch because it ends as any SCTV sketch should, with dummy eating.
Yes.
Yes. So then she accidentally leaves the toaster running, which I feel like the toaster isn't that easy to make burn as long as you set it on the right time setting.
Yeah.
Verisimilitude compromised.
Oh, here's the thing. I love that when she's looking around the house and she sees the bottle of gin, her first thought is, hey, that's what my parents drink to help them calm down. Why don't I try it?
That got a huge laugh out of me.
Like that one YouTube comment said, already breaking out the gin. Let's make this a party.
She literally says party time, so
Party-
she knew
yeah.
what she was fucking doing.
Also, the way she reacted to the gin by like immediately spitting it out and washing out her mouth. Agreed. Gin is disgusting. You can send all your hate to me. Once again, gin is gross. Is disgusting. It is the worst hard liquor I've ever had.
Remember, its Twitter is Neon Tails with 2 Z's.
Yeah, come fight me.
Not 1, 2.
My hot take is that most alcohol outside of very specific cocktails and hard root beer is bad to me, so I will take your word for it.
Beer.
Okay, I do like beer, but
Beer is good. Beer is good. Beer is good. And stuff. I say as someone who can barely tolerate alcohol if it's not a fruity drink.
remember, kids, we're a podcast that'll encourage drinking, so don't watch us. No, I'm
Oh, we
kidding.
forgot to mention, too, this is sponsored by Triaminic.
Yeah, that's right.
And in all fairness, with some of the decisions made in this, it feels like this was made on cough syrup.
Also, the last one was sponsored by friggin' State Farm. This was a Jake from State Farm sponsored video.
Oh my god, this special was sponsored by Flaming Moe's. And the secret ingredient to kids' safety is love. Who's been screwing with this thing? And so then basically a whole bunch of shit happens because of Kathy accidentally setting off the toaster, burning her hand, and she's like, I'll get the butter. What? Why would your mother tell you to get butter for a burn?
Doesn't
Jesus
that
Christ.
make it worse?
Someone check in on that kid. Is she okay?
When she puts the fork in the toaster and she gets electrocuted, I was just thinking to myself, man, these Saw movies just keep getting even more outlandish.
But I thought, I genuinely thought what was going to happen was she was going to get like knocked out and then go to like, this is fire safety fantasy land. Where they're talking smoke detectors and shit. And then she was going to wake up to her fucking house on fire and be like, oh my God, this is what I learned.
I want to go back to fire safety land.
I thought she was gonna die.
I was half expecting the smoke detectives were actually going to barge into the house and just berate her as she's burning.
Yeah, there are several moments in this where she could have and should have died, quite frankly.
Yeah. And so then, for some reason, when the fireman, the medic, and the police officer shows up, the fireman is the one she's scared of. Like, you should be scared of the cop.
Well, in all fairness, if you see a tall guy with a mask on holding an axe, how else do you think a child's gonna react?
Very true.
Also, like, we forgot to mention, like, all the shit she gets into. Gets ketchup on her face because she can't find the butter. It's like tripping everywhere, knocking shit over all over the place. Calls 911, goes, help me, and then hangs up. This kid's a liability. Why was she left home alone so many times?
And when Tina, the paramedic, pulls her aside to check on the wound from where she's bleeding, I'm like, you didn't notice there wasn't like a gash or anything?
Yeah.
And so then we get introduced to all three of them. Marty the fireman, played by Meshack Taylor, rest in peace. We played Ernie the policeman, played by Stephen Lee, and Tina the paramedic, played by Shuko Akune.
I gotta say, there is a weird sexual tension. I can't even say it's unexplained because, no, they make it very clear to the audience. There is a fucking love triangle going on here.
Oh, also, like, before the fireman shows up and she's still going like, it's a guy from Mars. The cop actually believes her and is like, okay, man from Mars, put your hands up. So, like as usual in the triad of, the first responders, the cop is just there to be stupid and contribute nothing.
Yeah.
The cop is just there to be stupid, be violent, and contribute nothing.
So then Meshack Taylor takes his mask off. Turns out him and Ernie are buds, and there's like this whole thing where Andrea Martin asks, wait, you guys know each other? And I wanted to bring this up in the mask episode, but I didn't, because there was a similar thing that happened. But, like, they literally just established that they know each other, and you're still gonna ask that.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It's human nature, but it just bugs the fuck out of me whenever that happens.
Also, you just met these guys. Why are you surprised they know each other?
Yeah. And also somehow her parents are not informed that they got a paramedic, fireman, and police officer there. Like, isn't that like the first thing you got to do if a minor is found home alone?
Was it different in the 80s or something? Like, no wonder so many kids died back then.
Maybe they were out of town.
It was the era of stranger danger, so.
I actually wrote a note on like my little notepads, and I was like, and meanwhile, Kathy's parents come home. Where the hell did you people come from?
What the fuck? Where did you people come from? What the fuck happened to our house?
So then at first they leave after educating her on safety, and
oh wait, no, well before that we gotta go through what they educate her on. Because I gotta say, I do admit a lot of the information that they give is pretty important.
Yeah,
and pretty well handled.
That's actually pretty accurate, so I was impressed.
You know, they're telling her, like, what to do when you call 911. Like, you're supposed to give them your address and everything, instead of saying, oh, no, there's an emergency, come over now.
Yeah, did they have to, like, dox her to find her information? Because if she didn't tell them their address...
I mean, I wouldn't say it's doxing, but,
I mean, if you
know.
have to.
Location detection, I guess.
I have a question, and it might sound really dumb. So, like, in one of the advice that they gave her, they said if there's a fire, run outside and then contact 911. But how do you contact 911 if the phone is in the house?
I guess you have to go to a neighbor's house or something. I don't know.
What if you live in a neighborhood full of sex offenders?
Ah!
Oh, then you just get back in your house and just let it rip. You know? Yeah. Whatever happens, happens.
I'm just like, you know what? Let the whole neighborhood burn down.
Yeah, you just get a fan the fire out, see if you can go to the next house, and the one after that, and the one after that.
You turn into that one guy from Waterworld who sees the explosion and is like, oh, thank God.
And so then, what else did they educate her on before we move on to the next scene?
They do the stuff with the fire safety.
Yeah.
Which, of course, leads to a fucking song and dance number.
It's no, you just gotta fall and crawl, but it's not bad.
Sometime in the kitchen, you might touch a wire. You say to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm on fire.
I'll play with matches, which you shouldn't do. And the whole pack goes off, sets fire to you. You better stop, you run around. Drop. Get down on the ground and roll.
I was so hoping this would be the part where the parents come home and they just see, like, these three first responders singing about stop, dropping, and rolling.
I can say, though, that this song that they did is much better than the smoke detector song.
You just know when they got back from Kathy's later, they were like, we'll show each other how to stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah, there's literally a bit where Marty says that him and Tina straight up go to the same health club. I see what y'all are doing with this.
Ah.
And then after that, when they're done educating Kathy, the cop goes to Marty.
If you got an old game of checkers to play back at the firehouse or feed the Dalmatian or something, feel free to do so, okay?
Marty should have punched him in the gut right then and there.
Wait, is playing checkers a fireman stereotype? Like cops eating donuts or something? I've never heard of that.
I mean, the Dalmatian thing I get, but what the fuck does it have to do with checkers?
Any firefighters who listen to this podcast, is playing checkers like a stereotype for you guys or something? Like, why was that supposed to offend him?
You know what Marty should have said? He should have said something along the lines of, don't you have some donuts to eat and some evidence to plant?
Don't you have some donuts to eat and some dogs to kill?
Yeah, and Ernie is just so needlessly aggressive with Kathy at points. Like, he threatens to arrest her for not completely understanding something at first.
Yeah, because there's the bit where, you know, he pretends to be someone else at the door, and she falls for it, and he comes in screaming at her that she's stupid, and that he'd gladly arrest her for it.
If I could arrest people for being stupid, you would get a life sentence.
Ernie, this is exactly the sort of thing you do that drives me crazy.
It's like, explain it to her first.
I'm sorry, but, like, that's just fucking abusive.
Yeah.
Like I said, just like a real cop, he's there to just be angry and contribute nothing.
I'm sorry. What was that? All I could hear was just a bunch of oinking sounds.
Yep.
And then there's another bit, too, with the sexual tension where Marty just says,
no, thank you, Ernie. She'd rather ride with me on the old hook and ladder.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, yeah, and they keep talking about taking her out for pie, too. You're not even trying to be subtle. Even the kids are going to be like, dude, we know what you mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the cop just gets needlessly aggressive with Kathy. Like, you know, I understand that it's frustrating that a not exactly bright kid is getting this, but the fact that you immediately barge into just screaming and belittling at her, like, yeah, Yeah, this is pretty accurate. I'd be surprised if this didn't radicalize kids growing up.
And he's like, all right, I'll let you off with a warning. When she got into gin, so it's like, you have some weird ass priorities.
Oh yeah, he literally asks her.
I couldn't help but notice this open bottle of liquor.
Oh, that.
Yeah, that. You haven't been hitting the booze, have you, kid?
Just, here's the crazy part. He's way more cool about the child drinking alcohol than he is about her answering the door.
Yes, it's like, get your damn priorities straight, my guy.
You know what should have happened? Tina and Marty should have just made out on the spot just to spite him.
Yes.
No, he would have been into that.
So then the three decide to teach Kathy about CPR. And so then, of course, it leads to another bit of fucking sexual tension.
Do either of you know the Heimlich maneuver? Sex. They're talking about sex.
CPR, more like cunt PR. I don't know.
FUCKPR. I don't know.
I think what made their exchanges even worse is that it was revealed that Tina had like a boyfriend.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
They reveal that at the end.
Oh, this is really getting steamy now.
Just be polyamorous. God damn it.
Let them have their hot apple pie with melting cheese. Another euphemism in this kid's safety video.
Ah.
You know, while I'm sad that Marty didn't get with Tina at the end, I am still very glad that Ernie got cucked big time.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I did admittedly kind of clock out during the last half of this video just because the advice was actually genuinely good. So I was like,
Yeah, there was not a lot to riff on, quite frankly, in that.
yeah. So I want to make it clear that whenever I riff on safety videos, I promise I'm not saying safety videos aren't important. I'm just saying that it's all about presentation.
No, we actually think safety videos are dumb. We should just let the kids burn.
Yay!
Again, Neon Tails with 2 Z's.
Come at me.
And then we get easily the weirdest fucking crossover that has ever occurred in any of the things we've talked about. Jason Voorhees shows up.
Oh, it's so random. Jason.
Jason, the Wicked Witch of the West, the Mummy.
Like, what Friday movie had recently come out around this time? Lottie might know.
Take Manhattan.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
this was after Jason Takes Manhattan, and he speaks. He has a voice. He literally knocks on the door and does the whole, "Kid, I'm trying to get your information. I know your parents, and we need to get our tire fixed" bit. And he has like this gravelly voice, and then it cuts to this stupid fucking bit.
Yeah, also, one of the people with him is an alien that looks like they're right out of Alien Encounter, except blue.
Yeah, and yeah, he has like this very actually decent makeup compared to all these stupid rubber masks everyone are wearing.
Apparently, the alien is played by Greg Canham, who's actually a special effects artist, and he worked on The Mask. So it all connects, man.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, so holy shit.
Wow.
And also, apparently, the werewolf was played by John Vulick, who's also a makeup effects artist.
One more joke that I had, too, was that, you know, I'm sure that somebody wished on a monkey's paw that Stuart Gordon would direct a Friday the 13th movie, and this is what we fucking got.
It was me, sorry.
So yeah, I'm gonna give this one a donation box. It's not perfect, but I can definitely see this being a fun little one to pass around for various classes.
Yeah, it's another donation box. There's not a lot to riff on, but the information in it is pretty good for what it's worth.
Exactly. I probably wouldn't watch it like multiple times. Like I said, Ernie severely tests my patience, but otherwise it's pretty good. And it's overall a nice little use of Joe's talents.
I just realized in Smoke Detectives, we had Bert. In this, we had Ernie.
Ah!
Randy, how about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a donation box too, and not out of pure guilt like the last one. I really did kind of, laugh a little at this one just because of how corny it was, which, I can't hate something for just being corny.
Yeah, no.
It's gotta piss me off.
I realized something about Smoke Detectives. We forgot to bring up the end credits song. Ugh.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was stupid.
That was painful.
That was one of the worst things I'd ever heard in my life. And you know what? I'm going to burn the tapes now because of it.
Yeah, there we go.
Also, I should add that I feel sorry for those poor kid actors having to try to rap.
I think it's definitely a donation box. Again, it's a good one for kids. And also, like, it's not good for riffing, but it is good to show your friends just for that last bit of, like, all the monsters and Jason for some reason. Like, just so you see what their reaction was.
I will say, this was better representation than Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
More specifically, Jason shows up for 2 minutes and it's just a bunch of fucking assholes for the rest of the movie.
God, that movie sucked.
There's not even Camp Crystal Lake in it. What the fuck's the point?
Yeah. And Kai, how about you?
Donation box. It's harmless, and I read the comments in the video. A bunch of these people enjoyed it when they were like in the first grade.
For them.
So
yeah.
So donation box. It's harmless and it's funny at times.
Also, this is likely going to be a kid's gateway into SCTV, and hell yeah.
As it should be.
All right. So this was so much fun.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Joe Flaherty, you brilliant, brilliant king.
What else can I say? I just miss him.
Everybody immediately go check on Rick Moranis. We gotta make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
And Dave Thomas.
Yes, and Catherine O'Hara and Andrea Martin. The entire cast.
And John Candy. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Well, at least they're hanging out again in heaven, hopefully.
All right, so who has stuff to plug?
Nothing really to plug. Other than how do you plug a podcast when you're on a podcast? Listen to Channel KRT, guys, even though you're already listening to it, I guess.
Yeah, go listen to us on another website immediately after this.
There we go. Increase the views. Do it.
I have nothing to plug, so I'm just gonna go watch those fire safety PSAs on YouTube.
Huzzah.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
You can find me, Mission Breakout, on Discord. You can find me, MuppetVision_3D on Letterboxd. I am not on Twitter anymore. Shut up. If I'm on there, no, I'm not. Okay, you know what? I'll plug mine, but only because I want to start posting art on it. But that's it. Mission Breakout with a 0.
Yay.
Like I said, if you got anything to say, you can take it up with me, Neon Tails with 2 Z's on Twitter.
Huzzah!
All right, and as for me, you can find me on the usual spots, Tyler FG on Twitter, Tyler FG96 on Instagram, and as for the show, you can find us on Twitter at channel_KRT, Channel KRT Podcast, all one word, on Instagram, and you can also check out our Discord server and our Facebook group, which you can find in the link tree in our Twitter bio. And if you want to help support us, you can check us out on Patreon, where we have exclusive minisodes, outtakes, and episodes of this very podcast at its earliest convenience, as well as our Ko-Fi, where you can buy our exclusive minisodes for $5 a pop, or you can just give us money, whatever you want to do. And of course, thank you to our pals Paul Spicknall, Tony Goldmark, Ashley Hines, and Chris Reyna for pledging to us at the $10 level, and a huge thank you to our executive producer, Gomer. Anyway, Channel KRT,
you just gotta fall and crawl. Wait, wrong video.
I'll be at the Red Lobster in case you change your mind, shooter. God bless.